Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So third game into the Premier League season, comfortable 4-0 victory over Chelsea, a draw with Wolves on Monday evening, and of course today a 2-1 defeat to Crystal Palace at Old Trafford for the first time in Premier League history and all that. I've just currently had a glimpse at some of the highlights and that. I do believe we dominated the possession in the first half, but there was no real cutting edge in that. We didn't really create a lot of chances in that, and I think Crystal Palace's first goal shouldn't have really have happened, because I think Jeffrey Skillup shouldn't have been allowed his time to get that header through to Jordan Ayew. I think Jordan Ayew had scored just after the half an hour mark, and it was a good finish to be quite honest with you. But like I said, our first defeat of the Premier League season, and that obviously Ole Gunnar Solsjaker went with the 4-2-3-1 formation, and Crystal Palace did quite well today. Like I said, they went 1-0 up. It was of course 1-0 at half time, and that obviously we saw Luke Shaw come off in the first half. Obviously he was replaced by Ashley Young, and then obviously in the second half obviously we saw a penalty miss. Obviously Scott McTominay had been brought down. I think it was just past, I think it was past the midway point in the second half, and that obviously we do know that Rashford had been given the penalty and he'd taken the penalty, but unfortunately Rashford had missed the penalty. I think he'd currently hit the post, so that's now two penalties we've missed in our last two games, and that because obviously Paul Popper missed penalty against Wolves. Obviously it was good to see Daniel James score again. Obviously he got our equaliser, which was very good to see. That's 2 goals now he scored in 2 games, Daniel James. It was a really good finish, to be quite honest with you. I think obviously Anthony Martial had currently got the assist. I think he bent it straight into the top corner, did Daniel James. We also saw some other substitutes come on. I think Juan Mata came on for McTominay. McTominay actually made his 50th appearance today for Manchester United in all competitions, and I think we also saw Mason Greenwood of course come on for Jesse Lingard. So obviously they were with the substitutes, and it was actually Crystal Palace that got the winner. I think in there was 5 minutes added on, but I think they got the goal in the second minute of stoppage time. It was through Patrick Van Aanholt. Really De Gea should have done better with it. I think it did actually go through De Gea did the shot, but it was enough of course to get Crystal Palace victory at Old Trafford. But obviously we was the red hot favourites to win today, because usually we've got a really we have got a good winning record against Crystal Palace. I did say the last time Crystal Palace beat us before today was actually back in the League Cup, which was obviously in 2011 and that, but we've really usually got a good winning record against them. But you can see the problems in the squad, and that I said we are lacking in that midfield. That's one of the areas that does need to be addressed in the January transfer window. I think we're all, well obviously throughout the course of the summer as well was in search for right winner and that. But there's still areas that do need to be addressed in the squad. We did recommend 3 players in throughout the course of the summer. Obviously we've got Daniel James in, we've got Wan-Bissaka in, and of course we've got Harry Maguire in as well, and that there are 3 good signings in that. But I said that's not enough to get that's not enough for us. We need more than that. Like I said, we needed to bring at least 1 midfielder in. Like I said, we needed to obviously bring right winner in that. But analysing our current squad at the moment, it isn't currently good enough. And with Solskjaer, there's question marks around him now. Has he got the stature to get Manchester United in that commanding position? That can he do it, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer? And it's disappointing today that we've lost to Crystal Palace, because obviously these were 2 of Crystal Palace's first goals this season, because they didn't score on the first day against Everton. They drew 0-0. They also lost to Sheffield United and that. So really we should have won that game today and that. So I just don't know what's going on, because I thought when we beat Chelsea 4-0, I thought we're going to have a really good season. Maybe we're due with Wolves, but Wolves are a pretty decent outfit. The record against the top 6 sides is really good, and of course they have got good players. But I didn't expect us to lose at home today against Crystal Palace, and like I said, it is very disappointing in that. And I think the board realised, like they said, they realised that they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. They didn't get all the players, they didn't get all the players in that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer of course wanted. And I did say certain players would have had reservations about joining Manchester United anywhere, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for this season. But I think the players we was in for throughout the course of the summer, I think we'll probably reignite our interest in them players probably in the January transfer window. But I think the board have assured that Solskjaer will be back in the next couple of windows. But I do believe, regardless of what happens this season anyway, Solskjaer is going to be staying at Manchester United at least for this season, as long as we're not in a relegation fight, which we won't be, or as long as we're not finishing in mid-table. I do believe Solskjaer's job should be currently safe. But I do believe Solskjaer spoken with Ed Woodward anyway throughout the course of summer, with our lack of business and all that. But yeah, definitely further more investment is needed in the squad. And I did say our expectations this season is obviously to finish in that top four. Obviously, we do. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got to exceed these expectations. Perhaps maybe win some silverware, but I think this season it's very imperative that we do get qualify for the Champions League, because we want to obviously get back into the Champions League and want to be back to being a competitive elite level football club. And obviously with the history of this club, obviously with the dimension of the club as well, we should be up there competing, of course, challenging for silver. And I think our squad is good enough definitely for a top four finishing that. And I think if we finish out the top four this season, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job could be under a serious threat. And I just don't know what's currently going on in that. And like I said, our squad's not good enough yet, to win the league. I did say our aspirations probably, will be that top four in the next couple of seasons. But today, as I saw some of the highlights, I thought we had a lot of the ball in the first half. I just thought that we didn't really play with a high tempo. We was lacking in that final third. Like I said, we didn't really have that cutting edge. And I did initially say that I can already see the vast improvements in the squad. I said it throughout pre-season. I said it after the game against Chelsea. I even said it after the game against Wolves. I can see the improvements in the squad. We do look slightly better defensively, obviously with Harry Maguire coming in. We do look better in the attacking third of the pitch, because we are proving to be more clinical now, but wasn't clinical today against Crystal Palace, and that was another problem as well. But we have now got that pace up front, and that's obviously something we lacked last season. This is why last season we didn't score enough goals. This is why obviously wasn't ruthless enough in front of a goal and that. But we are sort of like scoring goals now. Obviously we've scored 6 goals now in 3 games and that, but I can still see the areas in the squad where we are currently lacking and that. Obviously he went with the 4-2-3-1 like I said he would, Solskjaer, because I think he's going to go with that formation on a regular basis this season. I think quite a couple, maybe a few times he'll probably go with that 4-3-3 and that. But we have got big ambitions for the future. We want to get back to winning silver, and this is something obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring back to the football club. And obviously he wants to bring that fear factor back to Manchester United, and that fear factor hasn't been there since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. And like I said, I think the lowest we've finished from my generation of what I know anyway, was actually 7th under the David Moyes era and that. But like I said, we should be beating teams like Crystal Palace. We should be beating teams like Palace anywhere. We're one of the richest clubs in the world. We've got massive revenues. We've got players on big contracts. We've spent big on players over the years and that. So basically, we should be demolishing Crystal Palace. But like I said, I can see the improvements in the squad, but there is still deficiencies in the squad that do need to be addressed. And I do believe throughout the course of summer that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had been given a substantial amount to spend, but just didn't get all the players that he did currently want. So I think in January we need to try and get Bruno Fernandes in, because I think I would be excited about the prospect of Bruno Fernandes playing alongside Pogba in our midfield. We may go back in for Christian Eriksen in January. We may go back in for Dybala, may go back in for Mandzukic and that. Some people say we don't even need a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, but maybe we do. But Solskjaer, basically said the reason why we didn't get that replacement for Lukaku is obviously to prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood and that. And like I said, the young players will get given their chances this season. The young upcoming players and that, because I thought there was a fruition throughout pre-season. We was good in pre-season, won 6 games out of 6, scored 12 goals, but pre-season's meaningless, like we all know. But I think the young players have done, really, really well in that. But like I said, I'm still very sceptical about McTominay, very sceptical about Fred, very sceptical about Pereira. If they are the long-term solutions for Manchester United, have they got the attributes to succeed as Manchester United players? So there is question marks regarding that. And like I said, with Matic, he's too inconsistent, is the man, Matic. He's too slow. He makes that midfield, of course, look totally imbalanced in that, and he's too inconsistent his matches. So I think he's one problematic player at Manchester United. If in regards to Paul Pogba, he, due to his penalty miss against Wolves, obviously he received a lot of abuse. I think he suffered racial abuse online, with his penalty miss against Wolves. And then there was a vast majority of Man United fans demanding Rashford to take the penalties now. And obviously he's going to miss them penalty today against Crystal Palace. There is still uncertainty, regarding Paul Pogba's future, as we all know. The European window shuts on the 2nd September and that. But I think Paul Pogba seems to perform better, when he's freed up in that midfield. And that's when you mainly, see the best of Paul Pogba. With Paul Pogba, I don't know what's going on with him. I know for the entirety of the summer he's been linked to a move to Real Madrid. Real Madrid has been his likely destination. Real Madrid has been his first choice preference in that. Obviously, he's been subject to a hell of a lot of transfer speculation. And Paul Pogba has been widely spoken about throughout the course of the summer and that. And Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, basically for the entirety of this summer has been working on finding Paul Pogba a new club. Obviously, I think it did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has considered Paul Pogba for the captaincy, you know, in a bid to convince him to remain with the football club. And that Paul Pogba's our most expensive signing, who we paid £89 million for. He's also not the only most expensive signing. Our most expensive signing is a World Cup winner. He's also one of the highest paid players in the football club as well. I think he's just on under 300 grand a week, is Pogba, but I think his wages got cut by 25%. Obviously, you know, with our failure to qualify for the Champions League. And that, I know there's been talks about Paul Pogba making a return back to Turin, where he did have 4 good years in Turin. You know, did Paul Pogba hasn't mainly replicated this at Manchester United. I think Paul Pogba's had a good start to this season, and that he has had a good start to this season. And obviously, he was actually, you know, playing alongside McTominay today, and that he looked good alongside McTominay in the first game against Chelsea. But, you know, we know how much of an imperative player he is, and it's initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plans, you know, to build a side. Well, it was in his plans to build a side around Paul Pogba, and he actually told Paul Pogba, did Solskjaer, that he does not need to leave, you know, to fulfil his ambitions and that. But he came out a couple of months ago saying that Paul Pogba confirmed he wanted to leave Man United. He publicly admitted this, and he did say, you know, he's seeking for a new challenge, and he even did say at one point he was even willing to go on strike and that. But Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left in his contract with Manchester United, with an option to extend it by a further year and that. But I think throughout the course of this season, you know, throughout the course of pre-season, you know, obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer spoken, you know, to Paul Pogba. He's also spoken a lot about Paul Pogba, you know, praised him and all that. And, you know, we do know how much of an impact he can make in that midfield, Pogba, because like I said, when he's at his best, he can score goals, he can provide, he's good at feeding the attackers. And, you know, he's like 2 players in one, you know, when he's currently at his best and that Pogba. But I think it's very essential that we do keep Pogba now with our because obviously, you know, with our failure to land a midfielder, you know, throughout the course of the summer transfer window and that. But like I said, if Paul Pogba stays at the football club, we've got to avoid him getting an injury this season, because obviously, you know, we haven't really got a backup, you know, to Paul Pogba. So that midfield really does concern me, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, we do know that we've got a few injuries. Obviously, we do know that Eric Bay, of course, is out until Christmas. Obviously, Eric Bay is out with a knee injury. He's out for up to 5 months. Obviously, you've got Fossil Mensah, who's a long-term absence. Obviously, Diego Dalot, I think, you know, recently, you know, sustained an injury as well. He's out of action until after the international break. He's an imperative player, he's Dalot. Obviously, he's the upcoming future, is Diego Dalot. He's still very young. You know, we only got him last summer under Jose Mourinho. Obviously, you know, we paid around, what, 19 or 20 million pounds for Diego Dalot. He's not first choice, obviously. I know he can play as a right back, a left back and a right winger, so his versatility is very good in that. But obviously we do know that Wan-Bissaka, of course, is our first choice right back, and obviously Bissaka played today against his former club and that. But I think Wan-Bissaka, we have seen glimpses of a good sign. You know, he's proven to be so far. I think his defensive abilities are good. I think you know, he intercepts the ball really well, as we have seen so far this season, you know, from Bissaka. But I think Bissaka has got all the ingredients required, you know, to become a huge success at Manchester United. And we have got quite a few fullbacks. With Luke Shaw, I think he's enjoyed a difficult time so far in the Premier League this season. He did well throughout pre-season, but I think he's enjoyed a difficult time in the Premier League this season so far. Wasn't so good against Chelsea. I thought he had an average game against Chelsea, Shaw. Obviously today, couldn't really comment about Luke Shaw, because obviously, you know, Luke Shaw came off in the first half and that, but he's still a very imperative player, is Luke Shaw. Obviously, he won the double player of the season last season and that. But yeah, we have got quite a few full-backs. Obviously, again, Sanchez wasn't part of the squad today. Darmian surplus to requirements at Manchester United. Of course, I think he's one of the players that need to leave the football club. Darmian hasn't really been given the chance. I think with Marcus Rojo, he needs to leave Manchester United without a shadow of a doubt. Rojo needs to leave, because his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, you know, with the amount of injuries he has sustained in that. Obviously, we put a £25 million valuation on Rojo. Obviously, you know, we put a £25 million valuation on him. He's just got under 2 years left on his contract now with Manchester United as Marcus Rojo. So I think Darmian and Rojo are 2 players, you know, we do need to get rid of. Obviously, I think, you know, anyway, we've got 7 central defenders. You know, we've got far too many central defenders. So I think we need to orchestrate on, you know, getting rid of at least one central defender in that. You know, I think, you know, obviously with Tuanzebe, I think we're going to orchestrate on keeping him, because obviously, you know, following the serious knee injury that Eric Bay had sustained, and he has gained a bit of experience to Anzebe from last season, because he was impressive on his loan spell with Villarreal last season. That obviously with Smalling and Jones, I think they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. I know Smalling and Jones have been 2 long-serving players at the football club and that, but I think they're no longer good enough. And it was, in that aspect, it was bad business for Man United, giving them 2 new long-term contracts last season. And I think, we need to get rid of at least one central defender without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, our first choice centre-backs are obviously going to be Lindelof and Harry Maguire. And obviously Harry Maguire is the best option than what we've got in our backline at the moment. Victor Lindelof, there is question marks around him. Can he keep this consistency up? And I do believe he can, Lindelof. Lindelof does have the odd bad game, now and then and that. But I think Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire, are complementing each other in our backline, fantastically well. Perhaps maybe wasn't so good today. Some of the defending was poor today, to be quite honest with you. But I think Victor Lindelof, is definitely flourishing at Manchester United. The left-hand side, I think we're okay, because, like I said last season, that's where the majority of our attack was coming from and that. Like I said with Martial, he seems to be more effective in that number 9. Well, he's being given that number 9 as that got confirmed at the start of the season. But he seems to be more effective in that central position. Obviously started centrally today, did Anthony Martial. It was good to see him, he's scored 2 goals, like I said, so far this season. He obviously got the assist for Daniel James's goal today and that. But Martial, I think, will do well this season. I think Rashford will do well this season. I know there was inconsistent in the last couple of months at the end of last season. But, they are still developing in Martial and Rashford, and they haven't quite, emulated to that level yet. But maybe Rashford's could get a lot of criticism now. For his penalty miss and that. If we'd have scored that penalty, we probably would have won the game. But it's a shame in that, Rashford can play out wide, he can also play centrally, but I think Rashford will probably play more on the flank this season. With Daniel James, you could put him on the left and the right, but Daniel James is supposed to be more effective from that left-hand side, but we actually, put him on the right-hand side now. We put him on the right-hand side, quite a few times, where Daniel James and that. But like I said, Solsjaker needs backing in the next couple of windows and that, but we've got to finish in that top 4 this season. I still believe, even though we've lost today, I still think we'll have a better season than what we saw last season, because last season was a huge disappointment. We finished 6th. I think we finished 32 points behind Man City last season. Obviously, we didn't win many silverware and that, but I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years and that. Obviously, we haven't been getting the right sort of players to the club. Our managers, who we've had, haven't been back turning up and that. And obviously, I hope it can work out under Solskjaer. I really, really do, because we all love him a lot. He knows the traditions of the club. He knows the club inside out and that. And like I said, we're not known for sacking club. I know we've sacked 3 managers already since Alex Ferguson's retirement. Solskjaer's our 4th manager, but we haven't got the structure, to keep sacking our managers. And even if it does go wrong this season, I still want Solskjaer to stay at the football club and that. You can't just obviously blame the managers. And looking at it, the majority of this squad is not only Solskjaer's. There's only 3 players that are his. Obviously, we spent £148 million on them 3 players and that, and we have seen what good signings they have proven to be in that. But there's other areas in the squad that definitely do need to be addressed, as I think you all gathered. But look at the money that's been spent at Man United. We've got a list of our most expensive signings. Our most expensive signings, Paul Pogba, we paid £89 million for. You got Harry Maguire, who of course we paid £80 million for. Obviously, he's our second most expensive signing. He's the second most expensive signing in the Premier League. He's also the most expensive defender in world football. I think we did overpay for Harry Maguire, but I said in these markets this day and age, you've got to overpay for players as well. Also, Wan-Bissaka's one of our most expensive signings. Fred's one of our most expensive signings. I thought we overpaid for Fred last summer. Fred did well in the games that he participated in throughout pre-season, but I still don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United. Fred, Fred, to be fair to him, never really got the chance under Jose Mourinho. He never really got the chance under Jose Mourinho, and he did well towards the back end of last season as well, did Fred. But I think he's better and more mobile on the ball than Matic. I do believe is a better solution than the Nemanja Matic is Fred, but we paid just under £50 million for him. Obviously, Di Maria is one of our most expensive signings. We paid just under £60 million for him. Obviously, that was back under the Louis van Gaal era as well. So yeah, we've got Lukaku, of course, one of our most expensive signings, who we paid £75 million for as well. So we've got a history of spending a big on players, and like I said, just under £1 billion has been spent in the last 6 years since basically Alex Ferguson's retirement. And that, if you want to take into account what we spent under Alex Ferguson, obviously it's way more than well, it's way over £1 billion and that. But the money we've spent in the last 6 years, and we basically should be in a better position than what we currently are in now. But there's still a long way to go in this Premier League season. There's only 3 games into the season. That every team does lose. But we've definitely got to finish in the top 4 this season. And I initially predicted that we'll probably finish 3rd this season. The lowest we ever finished was 3rd, I think, under the Alex Ferguson era. But I did say, regardless of who our manager is, we're never going to replicate what we did under Ferguson. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Ferguson. And no one, of course, is going to follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. Even if we have now a manager in with a proven pedigree in that, no one would never replicate, what we did under Alex Ferguson and that. But I'm still very, very confident, it can work out under Solsjaker. But these problems do need to be fixed in the January transfer window and that. And like I said, analysing our recruitment policy, it isn't very, very good. Prior to this summer transfer window, we didn't get anyone in January. We didn't get our number 1 targets there last summer. And the main factor reason why we didn't get our number 1 targets there last summer, because the board, at the time under the Jose Mourinho era, the board weren't back in the signings that Jose Mourinho, of course, wanted to recommend to the football club and that. So now 2 seasons on the trot, we failed to beat Crystal Palace at Old Trafford, because it was 2-1 to Palace today. It was 0-0 at Old Trafford last season. And we've usually got a great record against Crystal Palace, and I think Crystal Palace is probably expectations will be this season is probably to stay up basically. I think they'll probably finish mid-table. I think they'll maybe finish 13th, 14th this season, Crystal Palace. Roy Hodgson's still there. Roy Hodgson, I think, he's too old now for management. He's been in management for years. I think he's managed over 20 teams, if I'm right, as Roy Hodgson and that. Crystal Palace have got some good players. Don't forget, I think they had 2 of their centre-backs out today. I think they had Mohamedou Sakho out. I think they also had James Tonkins out for injury. So they had quite a few injury problems. They had quite a few injury problems as well. And but like I said, we're not the same team since Alex Ferguson retired and that. And I've been really frustrated, with the lack of silverware in the last 6 years. We haven't won much silverware. We've only won the FA Cup back under Louis Van Gaal era. That was in 2016 against Palace in the final. We only won the Europa League and League Cup in Jose Mourinho's first season and that. So, we're not exceeding expectations, and it's very, very disappointing. And Solskjaer has proven himself as a manager. Don't forget last season he proved himself as interim manager in his first 3 months at Manchester United, and he went really, really well. He won a couple of Norwegian titles with Mould. When he was at Mould, he won a couple of Norwegian titles with Solskjaer. Obviously, it didn't really work out for him at Cardiff. Had a really short tenure at Cardiff and that. So he has got a bit of experience as a manager, but not really to the highest level. And that's in that aspect that does actually concern me. But I'm still confident. It can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I hope it does work out under Solskjaer and that. But even if we was to get a new manager in now at this moment in time, or say we keep Solskjaer for this season, it goes on and we get rid of Solskjaer and recommend someone else in, we're still going to be struggling, because obviously analysing the squad at the moment isn't currently good enough in that. But I said, even if we had a manager to the highest level now, we could recommend Guardiola in now. I still don't think much would change. I think we'd be in a better position, but I still don't think we'd be winning the league, because I still think managers to the highest level would currently struggle with this current squad and that. But I do believe this season, I hope to say that our record against the top 6 sides is going to improve, because our record against the top 6 sides wasn't good last season. So like I said, I know we're not going to win the league. I said that at the start of the season that we're not going to win the league, but I did say I expect us to probably, finish in that current top 4. Now, news in regards to Sanchez, like I updated you earlier on about him. Obviously, for several weeks now, Inter Milan have been in talks with Man United over the possibility of taking Sanchez out on a long-season loan. It reportedly says that Inter Milan are the favourites to sign Sanchez on a long-season loan, with then the option to buy at the end of the season. And I did say for the majority of the summer, we have been working on getting rid of Alexis Sanchez, but obviously we found it very, very difficult to get rid of Sanchez. Reflecting on his substantial wages. Obviously, not many teams can afford to pay his wages off, because obviously Sanchez is on 400 grand a week. Potentially, rising up to 500 grand a week. Based on the image rights and the bonuses and that. So I think his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club and that. They really, really are, but reporting now Inter Milan are the favourites, to currently get him in that. It reported out, was it earlier on this week or was it last week, that Sanchez's agent had currently flown to the UK to obviously hold he held discussions about the possibility of Sanchez, going out on a long season loan to Inter Milan. Now, it got reported the other week saying that, Roma were interested in taking Sanchez out on loan. There's been a host of Italian clubs interested in him. I think Solsjaker has confirmed that a number of clubs are interested in signing Sanchez and that. And Solsjaker said he's still confident that, Man United can offload Sanchez. But I think it confirmed the other week that actually, Sanchez had turned down a move to Roma. Then it reportedly said that Napoli were interested, AC Milan, of course, were interested. But I think Inter Milan have stepped their interest up now in Sanchez. Reportedly, we know that Sanchez is on 400 grand a week. With bonuses, it's 500, obviously. And I think that equates to a year around £18 million. But I think, Inter Milan are not willing to pay all of his wages off. I think they're only willing to pay around 4.5 million a year of his £18 million a year wage and that. So the substantial wages, does seem to be the stumbling block and that. But I think talks are still ongoing, between Manchester United and Inter Milan. But Solskjaer's confirmed a number of clubs are interested in signing him. I also believe that Solskjaer has held fresh negotiations with Sanchez, obviously regarding his future. But Solskjaer came out the other week and he actually, said that he expects Sanchez to play a lot of games this season once he's fit, because we do know Sanchez has been working to full fitness. He's obviously, been below his fitness as Sanchez. Obviously, he hasn't played yet this season. He wasn't even part of the pre-season squad because obviously, he'd been on the Copa America duty where he had sustained a hamstring injury, and I still believe he's not fully fit yet, Miss Sanchez. And anyway, we do know Sanchez is behind the likes of Daniel James, Martial and Rashford and that, so he's going to find it very, very hard, to get there in that mix. But we do know anyway that Alexis Sanchez obviously, hasn't been first choice. But Solskjaer had his overarching view on it, and he believes that Sanchez, will come good this season and that. Sanchez, of course, returned to training yesterday at Carrington. He was absent on Thursday. I think something to do with some kind of a visa issue and that. But, the transfer saga about Sanchez does continue to persist. Solskjaer also denied speculation about, Sanchez getting sent to train with the reserves, because obviously there was reports coming out saying that he could be sent to train with the reserves in order, to force him out with the football club and that. But Sanchez is one of the problematic players, because Sanchez has been a huge disappointment since his arrival from Arsenal in January 2018. Obviously, he came as part of a swap deal with Mkhitaryan going to Arsenal. Sanchez has been a huge disappointment. He's only managed 45 appearances and scored 5 goals, and I think provided them around 9 assists. And I expected a hell of a lot more from Sanchez, and obviously hasn't exceeded expectation levels at Man United as we all thought he would have done, because he was reflecting back what he did at Arsenal, reflecting back what he did at Barcelona when he was younger, and he was good at Arsenal and Barcelona. And he just basically hasn't replicated any of this form at Manchester United. And Sanchez is now 30 years of age, or is he 31 years of age? So, I think he's 30 years of age, but nearly 31. So, of course, he is aging up. So, I don't think he's really got a future at Man United. But we have obviously, got quite a few aging up players. But there is still uncertainty, regarding Alexis Sanchez's future. But I think could be open to making a return back to Italy. Don't forget, he could be open to it, because obviously I think he had 5 successful years, under Nice, of course, when he was a lot younger. So there has been quite a few Italian clubs in there for Sanchez. Inter Milan, don't forget, have already got Lukaku on the board. I think Inter Milan have inquired about the possibility of getting Matteo Darmian as well. I think Matteo Darmian could be open to making a return back to Italy, because he spent the majority of his career in Italy, of course, when he was younger and that. But like I said, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival, 4 players have basically, departed the football club. Obviously, Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years at Man United. We saw Ander Herrera leave. He served 5 years at Man U, so he was a long-serving player. We saw Marion Fellaini leave. He served 6 years at Man U. Obviously, we also saw, like I said, Lukaku left. And I think in that aspect, it was good business, generating a substantial amount for a flop. We got 70-odd million for Lukaku, so we recouped the money that did pay for him from Everton a couple of years ago, which was obviously, very, very good to see in that. But more players do need to leave, and we need to see more incomings in the January transfer window and that. So I'm very, very hopeful about that. But Solskjaer did say anyway at the start of the summer that he wanted to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad. Obviously, we've got 3 players in. So in January, I think we expect to get at least 2 players on the board and that. But Solskjaer worked out his transfer strategy at the start of the summer, and he did initially say that he wanted to recommend a number of young players in that can grow, develop, and emulate him into superstars. But Solskjaer's I think he's obviously with the philosophy in that Solskjaer's got his philosophy. He's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy, but he did say in the summer as well. Solskjaer said he was following a policy, that proved successful under Alex Ferguson and that. But so hopefully it can work out under Solskjaer. And I did give you the reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho. Even though a substantial amount of money was spent under Mourinho, he recommended 11 players in, spent just under £400 million. But I said to you, it didn't work out under Mourinho because obviously maybe we appointed him too late at the time. Obviously, even though he's got a winning pedigree, Jose Mourinho, and obviously, he was regarded as one of the best managers in the world, and he's won stuff everywhere he's been. It didn't work out on him because he had bad disputes with the board, bad disputes with the top players. The board went back in the signs that he wanted in last summer. There was no sort of, the philosophy wasn't right under Mourinho. It was part of the bus football under Mourinho. We used to part of the bus against the elite level teams. And he had bad disputes with the board, like I said, and there was no sort of transfer strategy under Jose Mourinho. So these are the reasons why it didn't work out under him. And under Louis van Gaal, didn't work out under him because obviously the philosophy wasn't right. The football was turgid under Louis van Gaal. And a lot of money was spent on Louis van Gaal, maybe he brought quite a lot of players in. Some of them are still here now. Of course, some of them have left and that. But it didn't work out under Louis van Gaal. And with the David Moyes, obviously, he only had a short tenure at Man United. His job only lasted 7-8 months, something like that. David Moyes, and I don't think we really wanted to get David Moyes in. It was just at the time, Ferguson, when he announced his retirement, he obviously wanted to recommend David Moyes in for the job because obviously they were both Scottish, and I think they were really, really good friends. And this is why obviously David Moyes came in and that, and he was never proven anywhere. Never dealt with top players and that. Never really won any trophies. I don't think he won any trophies. He did good with Everton, but I think the club was just, the trappings of the club were too high for David Moyes and that. I just want us back, to being a competitive elite level football club. And looking at it now, City is strides ahead of us. You've got Liverpool, of course, that are strides ahead of us and that. So we need to fix this problem in the January transfer window. But analysing the game, what I saw, Palace had a few chances today. We had some chances. I don't think we was clinical enough today. We had a lot of the ball in that first half and that, we're passing the ball well. But, we just lacked that cutting edge today. And I'm shocked at that. I thought, we would have won the game comfortably today. Because at Wolves, we didn't play bad against Wolves. I thought first half we played really, really well. Second half, Wolves came into it, Neves, scored them really, really good equaliser for Wolves. You can't take that away from him. And in the game against Chelsea, I thought we played really, really well as well. Well, in the first 20 minutes in the game against Chelsea, it wasn't so good. We lost the ball too easily. Chelsea were pressing. They hit the woodwork and that twice. So it wasn't a full-on good, brilliant performance against Chelsea. I think after the 20-minute mark, that's when we revived ourselves and that's when we started to play. But like I said, very, very disappointed, with the result today. I think Southampton is the next game. I will have to, look about that. Yeah. So that's your match reaction. Everything to update you today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.